Hello and welcome to the episode of Shocktober where you find out just how gay I really am. We're doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show, the UK version, not the US version. The only difference is one missing song from the that's not in the US version. So be sure to choose the right one to not fall out of sync. As always, I am Jacob.
Gemma.
And this is an audio commentary, not a video. So if you wish to sync up with your own copy of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, you can do so in 3, 2, 1, play. Now I love this piano version of the 20th Century Fox music. Straight away, was this ever used in any other films? Do you know?
I'm not entirely sure, but I mean it is amazing. I really like it. It's a nice touch.
Now I paid homage to this opening sequence, even the font, oddly enough, in my own film Exhibitors, which was a film about a person who makes horror movies, and we started with we had that sort of font for the title, but it wasn't a pair of lips, it was a human brain, but it's the same effect on the black and then coming towards the screen.
Yeah.
So this film has been a huge influence on me as a person and as a filmmaker and as a total sexual deviant. Now, whose mouth is this?
This is Patricia Quinn's, the person who plays Magenta in the movie. That's her mouth, but it's not her singing, obviously.
No.
It's Richard O'Brien. This is one of my favourite songs in the movie.
It's great, isn't it? You just know straight away when you hear this that this movie's going to be the shit.
Yeah.
Like straight, you hear this song, you're like, yes, I'm in.
Yeah.
You've got my attention. There's so many references to cool B movies and stuff, and you're like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. Thankfully, I've seen a lot of them, which is really good because it's like, yeah, I've seen that one. I've seen that one. I know who you're talking about.
Oh god, this is a good movie.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we will not be singing or anything like that during the movie because we are both very ill.
Yes, we are. This is from the recording session we did when we had bad colds on the 30th of September.
Yes.
And yes, sadly, we are not very well. But I don't think people would want to sing because we wouldn't. It'd be pointless singing along to the songs because they'd have better singers in the actual film. So we'd have to make our own songs up.
Yes.
Which would be pointless. Mm-hmm. It'd just be you reading trivia, be like, did you know the film was originally called? You know.
Yeah. Dan, you're giving me ideas now.
It wouldn't necessarily work.
No.
So, should we just address the elephant in the room before we start? They've done a remake. I haven't seen it.
From the trailers,
Have you seen it?
I've not seen it. It's not out to October 20th, apparently.
Fine, we haven't seen it, so,
But it looks horrendous.
I don't like what I've seen of it. It might be good. But people are going to want to know our thoughts on the remake. I think it's weird casting a woman to play Frank. Personally, I probably sound like a sexist, but I have an issue with that. I think Frank should be a man.
Yes, I agree with that completely.
It's cool though what you were saying about, because I recognise so many of these names and things and references to films and such that I've seen. Mm-hmm. So,
well, you know that film, The Curse of the Demon, that I've told you about? That's with a reference from Dana Andrews' reference, and I really want you to see that film because it's a brilliant film.
But the line about Leo G. Carroll, I'm just like, oh my god, someone who knows who Leo G. Carroll is.
Yes, I love Leo G. Carroll.
Obviously, everyone knows who George Powell is, but it's just like...
Yeah, and Jeanette Scott, I mean, you think, you know it's the Triffids. Yeah. And then you've got Fairy, King Kong.
Obviously, yeah. And the Flash God. There's so many great references. And straight away you know that this is being written by, I would say, Jim Sheldon and Richard O'Brien, people who obviously love the source material, who love these...
1950s sort of, B-movies. B-movies, just sci-fi.
And the film does it so well because it has all different cliches and conventions of different types of horror, but all very much rooted in that kind of, like they say, late night double feature.
Yeah. I
love this music. This music it actually makes me want to cry, but in a good way.
Yeah.
I love the way it sounds, and it's utterly beautiful.
I mean, Richard O'Brien is really underrated as a composer and as a songwriter.
Yeah, and a hell of a singer too.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's got the best voice in the movie.
Yeah. Do you reckon that was intentional?
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
He didn't want to cast anyone with a better voice than him. Mind you, I mean, I think Meatloaf is a pretty great singer.
Yeah, Meatloaf is brilliant.
Not so much in this, though. I know what you mean. He doesn't get the best song. Although, Whatever Happened to Saturday Night is a great song.
Yeah.
I think that's the name of the song, anyway.
I think it's called Hot Patootie. But
really, because the copy I had. But the thing is, I had it. I didn't have a legal copy of the soundtrack. I'm perfectly willing to admit that it was a audio tape that was the song names were written on in biro.
All right. I had this CD somewhere. I can't remember where I put it, but it's Hot Patootie or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever happened to Saturday Night, it just sounds better.
Since we've been saying that the remake doesn't look very good, and I didn't like the casting of Frank, who the fuck is that pretty boy they've got playing Eddie?
Adam Lambert.
Why not? I don't know. John Jafari.
Yeah, that would be so much better. I mean, he can actually sing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Adam Lambert is a good singer.
He does act
don't
as
get
well.
me
He's
wrong.
done musical theatre.
But Adam Lambert is not a man. Like, he's not like the manly man.
Yeah.
Like Eddie is.
Eddie's a man's man. He's a bad boy. You know?
I mean, Adam Lambert wears makeup for crying out loud.
Not in the like rebellious kind of way, you know.
No, he actually wears makeup.
No, he just wears makeup to look pretty.
Yeah.
So the guests here are the Transylvanians, aren't they? The guests actually at the wedding are the same actors who play the
yes,
play the Transylvanians. Which I guess in a way, that's fucking the stars of the movie. Like you got Richard O'Brien and Tim Curry.
Yeah.
But I guess it kind of works because it's a play as well, isn't it? It's a musical. It's a stage musical. So of course they do it the way they did the play, which is have the same. You know, anyone who's done any sort of theatre would know that in general, unless it's a really huge tour, you don't have people just coming on and playing extras in plays. You have the cast, you know, changing wigs and things. I've done a fair bit of this myself, running off stage and changing your wig and putting a cloak on or something to be somebody else for a scene.
Yeah, and then like the kind of parody of the American Gothic in the background there, where they had with the pitchfork.
Yeah, very funny, and you see that later on. You see the painting later on in the film as well. It's very funny.
So again, this film was released in 1975. And again, it was based off the stage musical beforehand.
Same year as Jaws, one of my other favourite movies, which I never shut up about. And this is another film I never shut up about. It's Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah,
and like it was kind of a star vehicle for people like Susan Sarandon and Tim Curry, because it was Tim Curry's film debut.
Really? Yeah, of course it was, wasn't it? Because he came straight from the stage show. Yeah.
And they got bigger actors from America to play, like, you know, Janet and Brad. I mean, Barry Bostwick, Meatloaf, and I mean, Barry Bostwick's amazing in this, and he's a very funny.
Barry Bostwick reminds me in this film of the guy from the beginning of Night of the Living Dead.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if that's intentional, but I always thought that swinging like chandelier was a boom mic the first time I saw this movie. Like the first 3 times I saw it on VHS, it was like, because it's such a strangely composed shot, because it should something like that, you either crop it out or include it. Because the shadow's just in there a little bit. I thought it was the boom at the first few times I saw it.
I love how awkward Brad is, and I just think it's just like a really good way of portraying him. Just putting that out there. First time I ever saw this, my mum and dad used to have this on home video, and it was I had on the background like the "Enter at your own risk" sign on the back. So I was like, oh, this film looks really scary. And then one night I went through to my mum and dad's in the living room, and they were watching, and it was this bit that was happening with the song "Damn It, Janet." And I was like, "What's you're watching?" And Rock had a picture show, and I was like, "It doesn't look that scary. It doesn't look like I can't watch it." And this is when I was about 9 or 10 years old, and they're like, Gemma, believe me.
Yeah, it's not that it's scary. You just maybe shouldn't. It's probably going to warp your fragile brain.
Yeah.
I blame this movie for some of my own monstrous behaviour. Now, I love that sign, the home of happiness. Like, the whole mise en scène in this scene is great. In fact, the whole film, the mise en scène is brilliant. But the Denton, the home of happiness.
Yeah.
Just like, but yeah, like again, you got Richard O'Brien in the background there. Yeah, that happens here in theatre. They have the same actors playing the smaller parts as well.
Yeah, because that's Littleton. That's I think that's Patricia Quinn there as well.
Yeah.
And they're very good friends, both Patricia Quinn and Richard O'Brien. And that's a terrible heart, isn't it?
It's awful. Like I remember, I think that every time I watch it, and that's a different heart.
Yeah.
That's an actually fairly well drawn one. So they a shit one in the close up and a good one in the master.
Yeah.
How does that even happen? I'd say the singers are all very strong singers as well.
They are. It's good to have like actors and singers that can both sing.
Yeah, because quite often, especially in modern musicals, it's quite trendy to just get actors to do all their own singing, and a lot of these actors can't bloody sing. You know, like Pierce Brosnan or Johnny Depp. You know, a lot of these actors are just not good singers.
Or even like the Buffy musical, trying to Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Kudos to her for insisting that she do her own singing, but she was really upstaged by like Anthony Head and
even Amber Benson.
Amber Benson's fantastic at singing.
Yeah, and like
certainly better at singing than she is at acting.
Yes, because it's literally like Willow and Plank of Wood.
Yeah.
back to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I love this song. I'm going to say that about pretty much all the songs.
That's the problem. Like, there's only one or two songs on this that I don't like that much. Like, that I would skip if I was listening to the soundtrack.
Yeah.
This movie is one of the rare occasions where it's okay to be turned on by Susan Sarandon.
Yes. Wait. Should I have said yes to that?
Well, it's okay. You're watching horror movies. You're slightly gothy. You have to pretend to be bisexual. It's part of the package.
Yeah.
Let's get you a little pentagram necklace you can wear as well.
Yeah, I think I've got one of those upstairs.
I'll get some books on Wicca. As in just what they make chairs out of. I'm not talking about like witchcraft.
the Wicca.
As in Wicca, as in WIC. The Wicca Manual. That would have been a much more boring horror film, wouldn't it? Nicolas Cage in The Wicca Manual.
And
shouldn't talk about that too much.
And then we've just got Jacob just stripping off next to me.
It's hot in here and I'm wearing a bloody Christmas jumper. I should be wearing a Halloween jumper. Do they make those?
I think so. We'll have a look.
So that's the OG M, by the way, from James Bond, from the old 007 movies.
Yeah.
That's the guy who played M in the... I can't remember his name, but it's the guy who played M in the old James Bond movies. Mm-hmm. Which I love. I love James Bond movies.
James Bond is good. This is Charles Gray. That's the actor's name.
Thank you, because that probably would have bugged me. Mm-hmm. There's ridiculous pictures of them as well. Mm-hmm. So we're watching the Blu-ray, and I have to say the print has been very well looked after, considering it's a 1975 film.
Yes.
I've seen far worse Blu-rays of films from that period, and later, for that matter.
Very true. Again, that's the thing, right? We're talking about how this film was very, very racy for the time period.
Yeah. I mean, the 70s was quite sexual. A lot of films had tits in them and stuff, but you compare this to the big movies of the year, like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Jaws. This definitely seems a lot more out there.
Yes. And it's hard to believe that it came out the same year as those two big movies, you know. Yeah. But it's very iconic.
Yeah, I mean, it's a masterpiece in its own right, isn't it? And that's why we're doing it on this podcast, because, there's no real theme. We're just doing, great horror movies. It's not like we're doing like a history of horror or something like that. It's just like...
I mean, that would be really kind of boring, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It may be interesting, but we've just chosen films we really love. All films that are close to our hearts and things like that, and films we can talk about.
Yeah, it's kind of made it a bit difficult though, because it makes us just want to watch the movies.
Yeah, we say this on every episode, but it is true. Like, you get watching the movie and you just get invested,
Yeah. Well,
I was just playing like an interview with Richard Nixon on the radio.
Yeah, apparently Richard O'Brien, that's one of the things he doesn't like about the movie, is that it really dates it.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because unless you think about it in a way, that he has recorded that and he listens to it on a regular basis, is that that particular radio broadcast really dates the film, and that's one of the things he doesn't like about it.
Yeah, he probably should have had a fake broadcast of just any old nonsense, or some. I mean, it would have been better than music, I suppose. They wanted like something boring, but they could have just had an actor like reading off some fake news. Probably would have been better.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, it says it dates the film. I mean, the film is dated. Even on release, it was kind of stylized to be, like a 50s B movie.
Yeah, of course.
The fashion and the technology and everything. He just nails that line, doesn't he? Just like, didn't we pass a castle? It's like, that's the kind of line you dread as an actor. Like in a script, even in something as corny as this. Like, I hate getting lines like that in a script. I'm like, oh god. But he just like sells it. He's like, yep. Yeah. Didn't we pass a castle back there?
Yeah, and this one was all shot in the UK for the most part.
It's very British, though, isn't it? I think it's the sort of perviness. It's not just European; it's uniquely British.
Yes.
Sort of like the suspenders and the corsets and everything. It's very British.
Yes.
That enter at your own risk sign. It looks printed. It doesn't even look like it's painted.
I know.
This is a good song as well.
Yeah.
The version of this, because I was in my friend Duncan's car recently listening to the soundtrack to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Some tour, well, not the picture show, the Rocky Horror Show. Some tour of it. And he had the soundtrack that he'd purchased. And the version of this song on that particular tour was garbage.
Oh my god.
He had to skip it. I was like, please, you're ruining me. Stop playing this.
Mm-hmm. It's a very pretty song. And plus, Richard O'Brien's bit is probably my favourite part of the song.
I think what I've heard that even like in the stage versions where they just hire professional singers who don't really know much about acting, some of those singers are not as good as the singers in this.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of weird.
Yeah. I don't think Susan Sarandon's done very much singing after this, to be fair. And
I'm going to ask the awkward question, but what did you think of Shock Treatment?
I didn't hate it. I liked it.
That's all anyone ever has to say about Shock Treatment. Like, well, it wasn't... It was better than the worst it could have possibly been, so hooray. I quite like how that kind of like crystal-y thing looks like the Crystal Maze in the back. It looks like the Crystal Dome at the end, yeah.
Yeah, Crystal Dome.
With all the fucking gold papers blowing around.
Yeah.
Okay, so for people who aren't from England, Richard O'Brien used to host a show called The Crystal Maze, and at the end there was a big crystal dome that looked just like that observatory thing, where people would have to grab bits of like, tinfoil almost, and it would that to get enough of them for prizes, basically.
Yeah.
For like cash and things like that.
I always wanted to go in the Crystal Maze.
Quality show, actually. Like, I'm sorry, I'm too distracted by the brilliance of Richard O'Brien. He's just such a great singer.
I know.
It's a very sort of like prog rock kind of voice. It's just really good.
Yeah. See, like, because prog rock's one of my favourite genres of music.
Most of it's garbage, but the good stuff is so amazing.
Yeah.
And Sturgeon's law applies so well to prog rock, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Most of it's just stupid, like, Hobbit garbage.
Yes. Like, you got bands like Genesis and Pink Floyd and like Marillion. Yes. Bentham, really. When things have like band names that are just like stupid, like Tolkien and the Hobbits.
Tolkien and the Hobbits. Basically, the kind of music that I can't remember the name of the character, but the son in F is for Family listens to.
Yeah. Justin Long.
Yeah, the guy, whoever the fuck Justin Long's character is called.
Mm-hmm.
These scenes remind me, the way it cuts back to this sort of narrator, remind me of Glenn or Glenda with Bela Lugosi, where they just cut to him in like a lab.
Yeah.
Like, beware of the big green dragon.
Pull the strings.
Oh my god, how good is Glenn or Glenda, right? The fucking sound design in that film is amazing.
It is, and
it's so good, and it was so shat upon when it came out.
I know.
I saw an interview with Johnny Depp who was talking about like what a work of genius it is, and then I actually watched it because I saw the movie Ed Wood before I ever saw any of his real films, and I watched it and I was like, this is actually the shit. Like,
yeah. See, I watched Glenn or Glenda and Plan 9 before I'd seen Ed Wood, so I was like, oh yeah.
So obviously Ed Wood was a point of interest for you. I watched Ed Wood in college. Like my teacher showed it to the class. We were learning about filmmaking.
Ed Wood's a brilliant film if you're going to get into filmmaking, I would say.
Yeah, we should do some Ed Wood movies next year.
Definitely. We were going to do some this year.
Yeah,
but
we just didn't. It's really hard to narrow down 31 movies, that's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, I've got Plan 9 upstairs.
You're wet. It's so great.
Yes, it's raining.
So, just the sort of like hunchback nature of Richard O'Brien. It reminds me, I saw Young Frankenstein for the first time the other day, and it was so fucking funny.
I couldn't believe that you hadn't seen it before.
I also love that they got away with jokes that were essentially just rape.
I know.
Well. Like, that movie's from a time where they go, yeah, rape's funny.
Yeah, because that film came out in 1974.
Yeah.
The Young Frankenstein. So.
And what's so good about Young Frankenstein, which is similar to this, is that it's made with such affection to old, like, Universal horror movies. It never feels like it's poking fun at them. It's such an affectionate, the way it's shot and like the way they use music and sound and cinematography and miniatures and everything. It's just so much like one of those movies, and this is the same. It's affectionate. I never feel like this is taking the piss.
That's how I feel the same way. Mel Brooks is very good at that, and I feel like that's the same with you and Dracula Dead and Loving It. He doesn't poke fun at Dracula. He's actually incorporating all the movies that originally the Hammer films, the Bela Lugosi one, the Bram Stoker's Dracula one, and making all the good things about it, and adding it and making a parody of it. You know.
Whoa, spook.
And then a skeleton popped out.
I don't know how skeletons became a meme. I really don't. It's just who understands where memes come from? You know, they just seem to happen.
Yes.
But skeletons are terribly funny though.
They are.
This is a great song as well. Again, we've mentioned it. We're probably going to keep saying this when this song comes up. There's a moment where he just like when he shouts and like Janet faints. It's so good.
Yeah.
There's a problem. It's another one of those movies that's just dicks in mouths. Like, can we do some bad movies as well? Because otherwise, it's just going to be us going on about how brilliant everything is.
Well, like we're gonna,
especially as like I made a name for myself on YouTube, slagging things off.
Yeah, we're just gonna. It's like this is the dick sucking podcast.
Is that hosted by Toby's dad? Get it? Because he's a massive whore and loves the dick.
We thought we said we're going to do any more of those jokes.
We said we won't do them anymore on Bad Creepypasta. This is a different show.
Ah, yes.
So this is actually became a real dance craze. And it's kind of done ironically as well here. It's like it's kind of making fun of those kind of dances, and yet it is a real dance craze.
Yeah.
And people still do it.
And there's Christopher Biggins.
Yeah, because you can't have a big camp like pantomime thing without Christopher Biggins. I think he's just summoned into the world. Like you don't have to hire him.
I know.
You just put on like a big campy production of something. Christopher Biggins just shows up.
Or you just say his name 3 times.
Just say it into a mirror covered in glitter, and be sure that ABBA is playing.
I was like, anyone like maybe from America or from somewhere else, not Britain, who doesn't know who Christopher Biggins is, basically
that is a life half lived.
Yes, basically he's just he's a personality on television, and he's very famous for being very very camp, very very and a lot of pantomimes and stage shows, basically.
All right, here it comes. The one he just like his voice is so good.
I know.
And then she just faints. It's like taps her on the cheek.
Well, it's just like
so
instant
perfect.
Orgasm.
It's just perfect. There's no excuse for that costume.
No, there's also no excuse for wearing blue socks with Mary Jane shoes.
Well, they're meant to be weird, though, aren't they? These people are like kind of freaks, you know.
Yes.
And that's another common theme in these kind of movies. Well, I say the kind of not these kind of movies, but like movies that this is parodying is kind of like the normal kids.
Yeah.
Then suddenly finding themselves in this world of utter insanity, you know.
Yeah. I absolutely love how Charles Greer looks so happy when he's doing.
It's the way he just gets into it, you know. He starts off like it's quite academic at first, and then eventually he's just having a great time. And I've seen this movie like hundreds of times. I've seen it on DVD, VHS, and now on Blu-ray. And this is my second time watching the Blu-ray, in fact. And it still cracks me up.
Yeah. Apparently, Little Nell, who plays Columbia, was a very, very good tap dancer. So, even though that does sound out of sync, she is actually tap dancing.
Problem is, they do so many close-ups of her feet. It feels like they've got somebody else to do it.
I know.
Every time.
He's just
It's the cigarette, right? In his mouth. Put your hands on your hips. Because the thing is, because I know him from James Bond as well, it's like I'm imagining M doing this shit, you know? Like when James Bond or anyone else is not in the room, this is what he's getting up to. Just talking to himself and reading files and then doing the time warp.
There was one night where I was watching this with my mum and dad, and we were having a few drinks, we were watching it, and then just me and my dad just got up and started doing the time warp in the living room. It was a good night. Mum got quite embarrassed. They're such squares, aren't they?
They're fantastic. I mean, when people make fun of me and you, like, I imagine this is what they picture, these two characters.
Yeah, I would.
Especially when, like, liberals are, like, ripping us on social media.
Yes.
Okay, so this is, like, the kind of almost Dracula-esque appearance of Frankenstein. And this is where everybody the world over gets incredibly confusing boners.
Yep.
But yeah, it's sort of, very kind of Dracula-like, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, look at that collar.
Oh, man, Tim Curry's such a great singer as well.
He is.
It takes a lot of confidence to be able to play a role like this, you know, dress in these kind of costumes and everything, and just and not feel like a man in a dress, to feel like, you know, someone who is kind of outside the realms of normal, and just this is just who you are.
Yeah.
And he just nails it. He's great.
And that's why I think that's why, I mean, going back to that, that's why a man should be playing Frankenfurter and not a woman.
Yeah, because he's a transvestite. He even says so in the song.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't look at all self-conscious, you know. Of course, he's done this. He's done the tour and everything by now. You know, he's so used to the character. But I mean,
I just love the pearl necklace.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing Milo Yiannopoulos would wear.
Yeah, because he loves his pearls, doesn't he?
He does, bless him, little Milo.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way it's a Steve Reeves movie.
Yeah, we're basically Brad and Janet, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Brad and Janet by day, and Frank and whoever the hell else by night. You can argue in the comment section about who's Frank. I think it's Toby.
Yes. Pretty much.
Riff Raff is Toby's dad, though.
Yeah. Because you know what Riff Raff gets up to.
Yeah, I tell you what, like, I don't understand how the joke went from, like, we're gay for Toby's dad and find him attractive to Toby's dad is a, like, massive slut. I don't know how it got there.
No.
Like, it just spiraled so far out of control.
It really did.
I mean, this is pretty obscene, isn't it, this movie? Like,
it is.
I'm glad that we actually don't do these as videos, because it's just one of those things that, I don't know. I don't think there's anything in this movie that violates YouTube's terms of service, but you never can tell.
I mean, look at her. I mean, she's like hungering for him. I always sort of wondered why there's a tattoo that says 4711 at the bottom on his leg.
Yeah, I don't know what the implication is there. Maybe it's sort of the Inhuman thing, isn't it? Like there's some kind of experimental thing going on there.
Yeah.
So no, of course, spoilers. He's an alien.
I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, then
why are you listening to people talk about it?
Yeah.
The eyes, like not there, but before he says it, like the eyes, like well, and to see. Tim Curry's a national institution. Like there's nobody out there who doesn't like Tim Curry.
I mean, if there is, then they should be shot, or they're rapists.
Yeah, they're probably rapists.
Yeah.
And the only person I ever knew who didn't like this is true. The only person I ever knew who didn't like the Beatles was accused several times of sexual assault and rape. This was not a friend of mine, of course, but somebody I met that was disliked the Beatles. So, in my experience, 100% of people who dislike the Beatles are rapists. That's how statistics work, ladies and gentlemen.
That is a fact.
Look it up.
Just those pants.
Unacceptable. I'm making myself cough.
That's what you get for trying to talk like Lemon Grab.
They should just put Justin Roiland in the new Rocky Horror Picture Show and just had him improvise all his dialogue.
Yeah, that's what he's good at.
Probably would have been better than the new one. I mean, again, we're kicking them while they're down because the film's not even out yet. And that's we don't have to talk about it too much, but. I was just drinking on the job. It's just fantastic.
And just pours the glass
and then drinks out the bottle. Yeah, it's so good.
But to see if there's stuff still in that, it's a waste.
It's white wine anyway.
Yeah, well, it looks like champagne or something.
Champagne's even worse than white wine.
Yeah. Yeah, champagne's not that good.
Just drink red wine all day, every day.
Red wine's good.
I love the implication of that line, like, he's not married, nor do I ever think he will be. We are simply his servants. And little pause for his servants. I'm like, oh.
I see what's going on here.
Again, just being quiet because the film's good. Excuse me.
Yes.
I might go and get some more lemon tea in a minute because I've got a sore throat.
Yeah, I'm almost out.
Yeah, that's what people tuned in for. Updates about our health. Yeah, we've still got colds, guys.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, my voice sounds a little bit better than it did in the last recording that we did.
We did the Evil Dead like before this.
Yeah, but I mean, well, at one point my voice will end up going back to its usual croaky self.
Yeah. It's the first time we hear their names, isn't it? So it's Magenta,
Yes.
Columbia, going as just Riff Raff.
Yeah.
That's why I sort of step out like that, sort of like
Mm-hmm.
Did he get his fiance's name wrong? Very funny.
Okay. Apparently, Tim Curry got the voice of Frankenfurter from Queen Elizabeth and his mum.
Brilliant. I love when he takes his glasses off. There it is.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. Like, I mean, are they implying he got a boner when he did that? Like,
Yeah.
like I'm yelling at you and it gives me a boner. I was like, oh well. How about you? No, people at home, your phone didn't just vibrate. That's Gemma's, who has insensitively left her phone on vibrate rather than silent.
I do apologise. It actually was Toby messaging me, so
Yeah.
you can blame him.
I do blame Toby anyway.
Yeah.
Even if it hadn't been Toby, I would still blame Toby. I'd find a way to blame Toby.
Yeah. Apparently the budget for this movie, I'm just going to be completely off topic here. Well, not really
Thank
off
God.
topic, but yeah. The budget for this movie was apparently 1,200,000.
Pretty low budget.
Yeah, I mean, considering how big this film is.
Yeah, like everybody's seen this movie.
Yes.
Like, a lot of these movies have low budgets. I mean, we've done The Evil Dead as well.
Yeah.
That's super low budget.
Yeah, I mean, it grossed over 140 million worldwide, though. So
That's what you call a success.
Yes, like, I mean, that's amazing.
104. That's almost the budget of the new Ghostbusters movie.
Yes.
I mean, not to be that guy, but like, how did they think that was going to make its money back? They spent that much on a movie?
That's probably because they just paid Melissa McCarthy. That is literally all they did, and then the rest was made in like.
The movie looks like they shot it on I don't know what Ghostbusters. The movie looks like they shot it on fucking DSLRs
Yeah.
for Netflix. I love like how it's supposed to be like people who are fans of this scientist, and they've got those spinny things from football. They're to ban from football matches.
Noisemakers.
Is that what they're called? Noisemakers.
Yes, because that's literally what their purpose is. It's like, what is your purpose? You make noise.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Right, Gemma, you're alright to entertain the audience while I get the next round of lemon tea?
Yes, of course. You know how entertaining I am.
Yes, why don't you regale them with some anecdotes about Tim Curry? Do you have any Tim Curry stories?
Yeah, well, I mean, as you know, Tim Curry, again, was his feature film debut, and Tim Curry Has also been in lots of other quite famous movies. He's been in the movie Clue, which people really need to see if you haven't seen it. I mean, he's fantastic, and obviously he is also famous for being Pennywise in the movie It. He's also he was also picked to be the Joker in the Batman the Animated Series, but he was told that he was too scary, and the part went to Mark Hamill, and he's actually been turned down for a few parts in those type of things before because his voice was too scary. Now, unfortunately, it seems that nowadays, I mean, he's in his 70s now, and he had a stroke a couple of years back, and he's now been regaled to a wheelchair, which is really unfortunate. But he does have a part in the new Rocky Horror Picture Show as the character of Charles Gray, the criminologist, which is the only reason why I'll actually kind of want to see it, mostly just because Tim Curry's in it again. Because he was also Tim Burton's second choice to play the Joker after Jack Nicholson, but he was just too scary. So he was, and also he was also too terrifying to play the role of Judge Doom in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and that's why the role went to Christopher Lloyd. Yes, I love this scene, mostly just due to the fact it's just so iconic of lots of all those monster movies from the past, and I always wanted to know how they did all those colours, and there must be just masses of food colouring. I'm just filling the silence with me talking. I hope this isn't too boring for you. Jacob will be back momentarily, but the actor who plays Rocky, well, he's not even an actor, he was just chosen for his looks, and nowadays he works in an antique shop, and he doesn't really like to talk about the movie at all because he thinks it's part of his past, and it wasn't him singing either. And Jacob is back.
I've returned. What were you on about? Utterly fucking boring garbage?
No, I was talking about Tim Curry, and I was talking about him, the actor that plays Rocky.
Okay,
and I was
what were you saying about him? Because I don't want to say some shit you've already said.
Well, the fact is that he was picked for his looks, and he's not really an actor, and that he doesn't do the singing in this, and that he now owns an antique shop, but he doesn't like talking about the movie because he thinks it's part of his past and doesn't like talking about it that much.
I find that with people who aren't actors, when they make a movie, they don't want to talk about it too much. Unless, there's an interesting documentary about the guy who was the dad in Troll 2 who went on to become a dentist.
Oh yeah.
He got into it again for a while, like when the movie was touring, but again just got sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he does quite a good job in terms of physical acting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know he's good. I was also talking about Tim Curry and the fact that he's famous again for being being in It as Pennywise the Clown, and he was actually the second choice for the roles of Joker for Tim Burton's Batman, but he was deemed too scary for the part.
I thought that was
he was also for Batman the animated series.
Yeah, that was the case. He was deemed too scary.
Yeah, I was that as well.
Series.
And he was also deemed too scary to be Judge Doom in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and the role went to Christopher Lloyd instead. And that he's in a wheelchair and
I've seen this clip. That's very sad, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen this clip. Somebody took a scene from I think it's from Mask of the Phantasm,
mm-hmm.
and have stuck Tim Curry's voice as Pennywise on the scene. And yeah, it's really creepy.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of it. I like the first half better than the second half.
I don't like it either. I think we talked about this on another podcast, but
mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of that movie at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Stephen King adaptations are quite weak. Like, I saw Thinner for the first time recently and really, really hated it.
It's not that good. 1408 is really good. The Shining is amazing.
I quite like Pet Sematary.
Pet Sematary is good with Jad.
Pet Sematary. So you've made yourself a muscle man. Okay, Jud's just going to be in the video intermittently now.
He's over there. No, actually, might be over there.
Might be down that ride. The way it says road, maybe down that ride.
And then we find out it's Herman Munster.
Yeah, like it took me ages to figure out who he was, and you were like, "That's Herman Munster," and then suddenly it all just clicked into place. You ever watch a movie like and you're just like, "Where do I know that son of a bitch?" It's ruining everything.
Yeah.
You just cannot place where you know them from. It's like fucking Herman Munster. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I really love this bit. To be honest, I like this film so much. Like, pretty much everything that happens amuses me.
Okay.
It's like, okay. This response is just perfect as well. It's like if Dr. Victor Frankenstein was a complete degenerate. It's just brilliant.
It's like, I've made a man with blonde hair and a tan.
I like that the sort of candy colour of the it kind of reinforces that he is a baby, you know, he's been created, you know, he's only been alive a matter of minutes.
Yeah. I mean, he must have had to be, like, at the gym for, like, forever to get that physique.
I imagine, like, in fact, I'm sure he was a bodybuilder, wasn't he? Like,
yeah, most likely.
You know, that's why they cast a bodybuilder rather than an actor, because he hadn't done any acting before. Most people can act a bit, though. You know what I mean? Like, a role like this doesn't require great acting. You just have to be able to take direction. Be able to convey some emotion with your face.
Yeah. I'm just going to see. His name's Peter Hinwood. He's 70 years old now.
Yeah. That's a pretty old movie.
Yeah.
75.
He was a professional model. That was what he was.
I see. It's a similar job, isn't it? You still have to have an incredible physique.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that he owns an antique shop now.
Well, people are passionate about different things, you know.
Yeah.
Most people are not just one thing, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's just like a bit of a change from modelling to antiquing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some people are models when they're elderly, but most models are young people.
Yeah. This bit makes me laugh so much. Just what he does with the horse.
Thrusting.
It's like, isn't that gonna hurt?
He's probably not hitting his testicles. I imagine he's hitting his butt cheeks.
Even so, it just looks sore.
I would just go from one song to another in this
Yeah.
sequence as well. One of the things I really like about it, you just go like I don't know what the song's called, but when he first creates Rocky to the Make You a Man to this one, which we can't seem to decide.
The Sword of Damocles.
Sword of Damocles, and this song, which we can't seem to decide the title of. But yeah, they got some pretty way playing him instead of fucking John Chiron, who sounds like Meatloaf when he sings.
He could.
And kind of looks like him.
Yeah, he could literally be the character.
See, I almost don't want to talk over this. It's such a bloody good song.
I know. Meatloaf's a great singer.
We really should talk. That's why people are tuning in.
Well, actually, here's something. Meatloaf actually hadn't contributed a song to a movie after this movie until The Pick of Destiny.
Really?
Yeah, where he's the dad at the beginning.
Yeah.
That was the second time he was actually in a movie where he contributed to the soundtrack, as not like one of his own songs.
Yeah,
but, like,
of course he was singing on the soundtrack. But in the film, he was also acting in.
Yeah. There you go.
I did not know that. I really like that little scene of him in with little kid Jack Black.
Yeah, I actually really like that song. It's a good song.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of The Pick of Destiny, but I do like the songs. That's one of those examples of a film where the songs are just better than the movie.
Literally, you could just watch the songs, and then that would be fine. The movie can just like go fuck yourself for all I care. I was really like that fact that he really is in love with her, and I love that.
Yeah. You don't see a lot of that in this movie, do you?
No.
It's all kind of, hedonism and decadence and that kind of thing. So you see characters who are in love, which you don't get much of in this movie.
Yeah.
Which is not, yeah, I see what you mean. That is a nice thing. It's an interesting dynamic, and there's so little clarity as to anything that's going on in this movie.
Yeah.
Which again gives it that kind of B movie vibe where they kind of a lot of these old movies, they wouldn't shoot all the scenes, or sometimes they'd use some existing footage from other movies, and they just piece a movie together, as was the case in oh god, what was that film with Jack Nicholson? The Terror.
Yeah. I've got that upstairs as well.
Of course you have. Everybody's got it. It's like a pound on DVD. But every horror fan has that movie because fucking Roger Corman and Jack Nicholson. It needs to happen. But so like for example, this character Eddie, we know is supposed to be the nephew of
Dr. Everett Scott.
Dr. Everett Scott, and yet there's a line where where Frank says about Rocky, he's behaving just like Eddie did. Do you think I made a mistake sharing his brain between the two of them?
Sorry, I'm just
So like the origin of Eddie is like really inconsistent.
It is.
I love how like they have no idea how to end this scene, so it just emerges with a pickaxe. It needs to happen for the story, but the first time you watch it, it feels like they just throw it in there.
Yeah, it's like, what you doing? Let's just kill him off.
Yeah. Like it seems like it has no point because he just shows up and sings and then gets killed. But of course, it actually is a plot point.
It's just kind of funny. He's just got a deep freeze in the middle of his science lab. I mean,
he's a mad scientist. He's probably doing experiments on cadavers and all sorts.
Yeah.
Deep freeze. Speaking of cadavers, there's a movie we're not doing this year that we absolutely have to do next year.
Reanimator.
I actually wasn't going to say Reanimator, but yes. I was going to say Return of the Living Dead.
Yes. That's another good... We do Dawn of the Dead next year as well.
Let's stop spoiling all the movies we're not doing, because people will be able to, by process of elimination, be able to work out what the only other 31 horror movies are in existence.
There is a lot of them, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, spoiler, we're not doing Paranormal Activity. Let's really shock people.
Yeah.
I love this. It's me. Ooh. I like the eyebrow. Well, not the eyebrow, sorry, the eyes.
Yeah. He's got a lot of, you can see a lot of emotion in his eyes.
And considering how much makeup he's wearing, that's no mean feat.
Yeah. His eyes are very expressive.
Yeah.
Honestly, you've made that face before.
Have I?
Yes.
Under what circumstances have I made that face?
Just when you're like, huh? If I said something. Electronic Wedding March.
Yeah, it sounds... It's like, because we open with that. Yeah, we hear it a couple of times in the movie.
Yeah.
You open with a wedding and then we got the sort of rock version. It's the same people, the same guests.
Yeah, because that's obviously the photographer at the beginning.
Yeah. The way it kind of looks confused, like, oh, right. The movie.
Yeah. The movie that I'm currently in.
Do you think he got the whole script or just his scenes? Like, I'd be curious to know if he got to read the whole script and was like, oh, this is so funny, this is great. Or whether it was just like, here's the bits you're in, go do them, here's money.
I'm not sure, but considering what he does with the time warp bit.
I mean, to be fair, this was already touring on stage. He may have gone to see the show, for all I know.
Yeah. You just don't think he's that kind of guy. Like,
Yeah.
to be he's kind of like, you know.
Again, I was just thinking about the Lugosi thing. It's sort of like, did he just shoot his scenes independently and not really know what the film was?
Yeah. There's just totally no excuse for that pair of underwear.
I actually want to buy a pair of underwear like that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mostly to stop you having sex with me when I'm not in the mood. That's probably... That's what I'm going to buy them for. Like days where I had a long day at work, I'm just not up for it. I just put those on. Just like, hi honey, you coming to bed? Sure, let me just get down to my undies.
And I'm like, that's... Yeah, okay. Night.
Let's get hot chocolate and watch Goosebumps.
Yep.
This scene, right, is, to me, it's perfect because the way they do it twice. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, how, like, he's just talking with, it's Brad, and then suddenly it's Dr. Frankenfurter. It's so funny.
I know.
But yeah, like you were saying earlier, it's amazing, you know. Even though you saw a lot of titties and things in 70s, like, horror movies, and particularly the way that, like, Hammer Studios had gone from being quite classy to being a tit show.
Yes.
It's still, I think because it's so debauched, it's still quite shocking, isn't it, for the time, you know?
Yeah.
Well, even today, you don't see mainstream movies that are this kind of, you know, let's say you don't see a lot of nudity and things, but just the actual nature of it and the sort of decadent, almost Roman kind of behaviour.
Well, the thing is, one thing I noticed is, see, when it comes to like American film and TV, sex scenes are usually skipped over slightly.
Yeah.
Like, you see the foreplay scenes, and then you kind of see the afterwards of sex. Whereas in British films and British TV, depending on like after the watershed,
unless
type
it's
of stuff.
what's that show called? Oh fuck, the one where the ginger guy comes home from the Middle East and he's like Homeland. That's just filthy.
Is it?
There's a bumming and all sorts in that. Like,
right, because usually just like a lot of British TV has a lot of sex in it.
Yeah.
And they show the sex happening right there. Like, was one time I was in Tesco late at night. It was, well, not late at night. I'm saying it was about 9 o'clock at night.
Just showing porn in Tesco.
No, you know the TV show The Tudors.
Oh yeah. I've never watched it, but I want to because Sam Neill's in it.
Well, there was a scene with Henry VIII.
Sam Neill had his dick out, right?
Yes. Henry VIII, played by Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, was literally like, you know, bumming this girl, and like all over all the TVs in Tesco, up loud, and all you could hear was screaming. It was very, very awkward. But that's something that is quite normal on TV.
See, I'd be alright with that. I saw a version of Henry VIII that was played by Ray Winston, and there was a scene of him doing one of his wives from behind, and I never wanted to see Ray Winston in that state.
No, I don't.
I don't think Ray Winston's wife wants to see Ray Winston like that, which is probably why he does his wife from behind. That's cruel. I genuinely feel bad about that joke. I'm sorry.
I mean, Jonathan
it's so great. It's just the same fucking scene.
I know.
So perfect.
But isn't it nice?
It lifts the legs up and everything. It's so good.
I know. Jesus.
Jenna's probably asleep by now. Trying to see like this. I love how he just gives up at this point. Like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I would like a really weird transvestite mad scientist to suck me off.
Yeah.
Why not?
I know.
I'm a pretty highly strung conservative guy in a castle in the middle of nowhere. I'll take a suck job off a tranny.
Yep.
I guess you never really know people, do you?
No. But he seems to be really enjoying it, that's for sure.
That tear looks like candle wax.
It does. I love this music in the background. It's just
the corny chase music.
Yeah, it could easily be the Benny Hill soundtrack theme.
Oh yeah, by the way, I want to make this point now to any Americans listening, right? Americans always rip on the British, going like, "Oh, you British think your comedy's so sophisticated," and then they show a clip from Benny Hill as if to say, "Gotcha." Benny Hill stopped airing years, before it stopped in the UK, before it stopped airing in America.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is they kept making it for Americans. The English got very tired of it, and it wasn't airing over here anymore. And they kept making the Benny Hill show for an entirely American audience.
Yeah, I mean...
So the way Americans use Benny Hill as a sort of gotcha against English comedy, the English weren't watching it.
No, we were not.
He's got a cigarette. So good.
Well, you say, "Oh, Brad, how could you? You did the exact same thing." Double standards there.
Yeah. That's kind of part of the comedy, though, isn't it?
I know, it's funny. But yeah.
Everyone's just copying off with each other left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
Like a soap opera.
Yep.
Like a B-movie soap opera. I think if soap operas were more like B-movies, people probably wouldn't feel so bad about watching them.
No, I mean, I'd watch them.
Yeah, I'd watch Coronation Street if it had some giant bugs in it from time to time.
Or it's like Deirdre Barlow and Ken Barlow.
Is that your Northern English accent?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's bad, isn't it?
That's horrendous. That's the stupidest noise I've ever heard come out of a human.
It's like, went to the shop.
Went to the shop. That's nothing. There's no one on earth who speaks like that. Went to shop.
To get an hot pot.
Then there was this ancient Egyptian mummy. I watched the shit out of that.
I know.
Every fucking day, man. I wouldn't care that it was on 5 nights a week. I guess that's the other reason soap operas are shit. They're on 5 nights a week. What kind of strain is that going to put on the writing staff?
I know.
To stay fresh for a show that's just never off the air. So they don't have breaks for seasons, like normal TV. They just keep going.
So Coronation Street has been going since 1960.
Yeah. You ever go back and watch the old ones though? It was never good.
No.
Like people go, I think a lot of it's nostalgia.
Mhm.
I'm not a big fan of this song actually. It serves the purpose of the film, obviously, but I don't. This is one I probably wouldn't listen to on the soundtrack.
The song kind of, it's not one that if you were listening to this and then someone came up to you and went, "What are you listening to?" and then grabbed it and put the earphone in you, it would be one that would make you feel quite uncomfortable. Yeah,
because obviously it's about fucking, but
yeah.
And not in like an implicit way. It's very explicit about it.
Yes.
But it's not a bad song by any stretch. I mean, I can enjoy the song in the context of the film.
Yeah.
And again, like, I probably would skip it if I was listening to the soundtrack alone, but if I was in the mood, I probably would continue listening to it. Like, actually, I'm enjoying this. But I'm just trying to find fault so I don't keep going about how great all the songs are.
Yeah.
But this is certainly not one. For example, if you were, wanting to sing a song from this film, or you said to one of your friends, "Hey, sing me a song from Rocky Horror Picture Show," no one's going to sing this.
No.
They're going to sing like Sweet Transvestite or Time Warp or Meatloaf's song
or science fiction double feature.
Yeah, or the big showstopper at the end, the really long one.
Or Damn It, Janet.
Yeah, exactly. There's a load of great songs in this. This is a middle of the movie song, It's like.
I just like how they just start copping off with each other now.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it's interesting, isn't it, how the film starts out like first this seems very appealing, this kind of hedonistic kind of you know I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but you know,
I know what you're kind of talking about.
And decadence, I guess, because that's the word they use in the film. But they're absolutely destroyed by the end of the movie. Like it's like eating them alive.
Yeah.
I think that's quite true. Like, as somebody who's, I don't say like I've behaved like this, but somebody who's done quite a lot of partying in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily lots of sex with aliens. But I'm not saying that. But, you know, like, do you take like, you know, any kind of vice, not necessarily sex, but you know, drugs or alcohol or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
And that certainly happens to these characters.
Well, definitely.
I do love the Frank's wardrobe as well, like that little coat he's got on there.
Yeah.
With the British flag on the back and everything.
It kind of looks like it would have belonged to Eddie.
Yeah.
And he's just started taking it.
Which, by the way, it's called the Union flag. It's only called the Jack if it's on a ship.
Yeah, it's called the Union flag. Even though I literally just reiterated your point.
Yeah. But we're sick and it's night time. Leave us alone.
Yes.
I want to go to bed after this.
Do you?
But I need to take a bath because I have work tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's exciting news, folks. Stay tuned for more updates on my incredibly mundane life.
We also really need to do the other film that we're going to do after this.
It's okay, we can say it out loud because it's already been on for the audience.
Alright.
This is the 5th of October.
Alright, we really need to do The Haunting. We need to.
Yeah, we have to be in a separate room. We're in the only room in the house that has the Blu-ray player at the moment, which is why we're doing this one. Because we don't have this on DVD. But we need to do The Haunting, which of course was the 3rd of October movie.
Mm-hmm. Which we have not done yet.
Yes, which we haven't actually recorded yet. It's like making a movie, just shooting scenes in the complete wrong order and then putting it together.
Yeah, exactly.
In the Zen room. I don't know why that makes me laugh, it just does.
It's like, you can't be in here, this is the war room.
It's like, you can't fight in here, this is the war room. I swear the only reason Dr. Scott is in a wheelchair is for this gag.
Yeah. Apparently, the reason why it comes through the wall is because they forgot, when they built the set, they forgot to put in a door.
Really?
Yes, so that's the only reason he comes through the wall.
That's fantastic.
Even though it's really funny, it was just because they forgot to put in a damn door.
So the only way in is through the elevator.
Yes.
Yeah, so they have to smash him through the wall. That's so good.
I know.
I keep saying that. You can tell I'm tired because I'm I'm saying the same phrases over and over again.
No. You should take it down to one of the Pro Pluses.
No, I'd like to sleep eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna sleep. No, I've got my tablets that I need to take that'll help me. No, they'll knock me out.
Say yes to drugs, kids. That's the moral here.
I'm on a lot of painkillers.
Yeah, they're prescribed. You shouldn't just get them from some guy at the bus stop in a dragon suit.
Yes, it was not a dragon. No, I'm on a lot of painkillers that I've been prescribed by the doctor. There's my life story.
Oh yeah, the version of this of the soundtrack that Duncan had on in his car, Dr. Scott didn't have an obscene German accent either.
Really? Do you think it's just what happened in the film was just like, let's just make him German? I love this.
Back when I was doing my teacher training, there was a student who kind of looked like how Tim Curry looks in this movie. And people used to go Rocky at him all the time in like every lesson. It was really distracting because he really did look like him.
It was just like, you just think, Magenta, read the room. It's a nice dinner table. It's red.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Just trying to break the silence.
Yes, that's basically what I did. Isn't that a nice dress that he's wearing?
It's alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a great wardrobe in this film. I think it's the best wardrobe in the movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't wear it myself, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't wear anything these characters wear, would you? But that's kind of the point. It's over the top and.
No. Well, I might wear what Janet's wearing, just with the kind of the slip and the bra, but.
Presumably you'd wear clothes over it though to dinner.
Yes, I wouldn't wear that to dinner. That would be very inappropriate.
Depends on the dinner. If it was a dinner with nudists, she'd be overdressed.
Yes.
That is like one of those jars they're drinking out of in Evil Dead.
Yeah. Like how they all just have different glasses.
That's kind of like our house though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's like, this one's fucking broken.
Yeah.
Just have that.
Yeah, and then it's just like, this is just a teacup.
Just drink out of that, mate. What do you want? That's a bowl.
Yeah.
It's a small chicken. Just have that. Just eat those.
Just cut them up like regular chickens.
Fucking Mickey Mouse he is.
Yeah. They really suit her though. She looks adorable.
I found her really annoying in this, like, when I was a kid. She doesn't bother me so much now, but...
Birthday to you.
Well, shall we?
I always liked Columbia.
No, I never did. Like, not so much these days. Like, again, it doesn't bother me, but when the first few times I saw the movie, I didn't care for Columbia. I don't know why.
She does have a very annoying voice.
I think it's the high-pitched voice and sort of like... There's quite a lot of scenes of her screaming as well.
Yeah, I mean, that would be annoying.
That face. Oh, that's a rather tender subject. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. Just putting ketchup on it.
I like that it's got the word ketchup written on.
Yeah. There's a couple of fourth wall breaks in this movie.
Yeah.
Like he looks at the camera quite a couple of times, and obviously, again.
Yeah, earlier on in the movie when he throws the water at the camera and things like that. Yeah, there are a few fourth wall breaks, but it definitely makes it feel more like theatre as well.
Yeah, and also Charles Gray's character is pretty much talking to us as an audience.
I like this song quite a lot as well.
Yeah, it's a good song.
It's not thought of as, again, we're talking about songs that you sing when you're talking about this movie. This isn't one people necessarily think of, but I do like it quite a lot.
Yeah.
The problem is, Whistler's Mother always makes me think of the Bean movie now.
Like,
even though Mr. Whistler was perfectly aware that his mother was a hideous old bat.
I love the Bean Ultimate Disaster movie.
I think, to be honest, as much as I love Robin Atkinson, he's one of my favourite comedic actors, it is Peter McNichol that saves that movie.
Just like, Mother Mary, Jesus of Nazareth. Oh, God, Jesus. I didn't realise that movie was directed by Mel Smith.
I don't know who Mel Smith is.
Like Smith and Jones, Mel Smith and Griff Rhys Jones.
Ah.
Yeah. The guy's also in The Princess Bride as the albino guy.
Just look straight into the camera, wouldn't I did? But yeah, like the whole "und I did" thing isn't funny when he hasn't got an obscene German accent.
Yeah, "und I did." Just the way he does the dance, like, I like that.
The Tempter. So there's a Yeah, the temptation to dance when you're watching this movie as well.
Yeah.
Oh, the way it hasn't spelled head correctly.
No. It kind of feels like he wrote that when he was in the middle of getting killed by Frankenfurter, just because of all he just written in blood.
The teddy just emerges from nowhere.
What's coming out of it? It's like it's got a heart or something.
I think it has got a heart. Yeah, it's a bow tie and a heart.
Yeah.
A lot of teddy bears on bow ties. It just works, doesn't it? It just looks cute.
Yeah.
How terrible that looks.
Well, apparently they didn't realize that reactions from the cast were real because they didn't realize that they had the body under there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. But I mean, it looks terrible. Like.
It does.
But in the heat of the moment, yeah, you wouldn't notice how shitty it looks. It just freak you out because it's just this is one of the best moments in the movie in terms of comedy. Just shut up.
I like this song. I know you're not a big fan, but
I don't dislike it. I think it's probably the weakest song in the film, though. But considering how excellent the songs are, it doesn't bother me too much. Another sorry, you were saying?
Sorry, no, I just quite like the lyrics mostly.
Yeah. The version again, I don't know what the hell tour it was from, but the version Duncan had the guy playing Frank was just trying to sound like Tim Curry, and it was like,
don't.
Are you gonna do something with this character, or are you just gonna do an impression of somebody else?
Yeah.
This is great as well. Like that. You mean?
Yes, Brad.
It just is so absurd.
I know. He's looking over and he's just looking in the direction. Schmanet. Janet.
It's just like the worst lyrics in the world.
I know.
It's just brilliant. Fucking terrible, but
must
like intentionally awful, you know. It's like we probably should acknowledge the fact he's called Frankenfurter, you know.
Yeah.
And so they do. I like that they're naked as well. Like the statues of them don't have any clothes.
Yes.
It turns you to stone, but like not your clothes. Your clothes just fall on the floor.
Yes. I don't know. She kind of sounds like olive oil.
Just, like, I'm just imagining her with like noodly arms now. Popeye.
Just her voice, just the way she's like. I can't do the voice.
Have you ever seen the Popeye movie where olive oil is played by
Shelley Duvall?
Shelley Duvall
And Robin
Williams is Popeye?
Yes, I have.
I forgot that happened. Like I've seen it. You know, I saw it when I was a kid, and I forgot it happened until recently. I was like, oh my god, there was this shitty Popeye movie with a fucking giant octopus in it, and Robin Williams was Popeye. And her out of The Shining was olive oil.
I think she looks like olive oil, so it's a good casting choice, but it's Shelley Duvall. She's just... Nobody likes her. Even Stanley Kubrick didn't like her.
Stanley Kubrick was very cruel to her to get that performance out of her.
Yeah.
He wanted her to be like a abused spouse, so he just abused her.
Yeah.
Richard Brand's face. Just look at that. If you're watching at home, just fucking zoom in if you can, if you have that feature enabled.
Well, I think this is the first time you find out they're brother and sister, right?
Yeah.
And then you get a bit confused because they've been acting very sensual towards each other.
And it's just like, well, you know, incest is wincest, as they say.
Yeah, because apparently...
As they say in Quebec.
Do they know?
Yeah, I like saying Quebec instead of Quebec. It bothers people.
Quebec.
Triggers them, you might say.
The thing is, because apparently, you know, when they do their like things with their hands, that's apparently meant to be a sexual thing.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah. It's like a kiss or something,
yeah.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, they are aliens, so, you know.
Yeah. You know, aliens are like...
Yeah.
No
weird
class.
Strange bunch of people.
Yeah.
Aliens are often communists. That's what I learned from Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yes.
I just love this guy. Like,
yeah.
It's just, like, he's like the alien to me because he just doesn't belong in this movie.
No, he does not. The thing is, his voice is, in different circumstances, really creepy.
Yeah.
Like, I would not want him to read me a bedtime story.
Perhaps not. I don't know. I don't really like people reading me bedtime stories. It is because I'm 27.
But you know what I mean? Like, if you're listening to an audiobook or something,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want him reading me.
Depends
something.
on the story. Like,
well, I wouldn't want him reading, like, you know, The Hobbit to
The
me.
Hobbit. What about Winnie the Pooh? He's got kind of like a classic British voice. Winnie the Pooh or Peter Pan.
Yeah, it's
Just think
possible.
of like old kind of classic children's stories.
Yeah.
I want to see the Winnie the Pooh Peter Pan crossover. I wouldn't surprise with the cast of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It wouldn't surprise me if that existed somewhere on either fanfiction.net or more realistically Wattpad. Okay, so this is the showstopper, right? Because this song just doesn't fucking stop.
Yeah. Rose Tint My World.
Yes, that's it. Rose Tint My World, and it's the shit because it just keeps going.
Yeah.
Okay, so the nipple slip, is this deliberate or accidental?
It was accidental. She's too skinny to wear the actual corset.
So the boobs just fell out.
Yeah.
So we may not talk as much here because this is like the best song in the movie, in my opinion. You may disagree.
I do agree. Although it kind of is up there with the Time Warp for me, or Sweet Transvestite. Yeah. It's a mixture.
Yeah.
Like, they're in my top 3. It's an amazing song though. Right. One thing that happens is, like, there's a bit that was at the dinner table where when he pounds his fist on the table,
he
accidentally pounds Janet's hand.
Yeah.
And that was an accident, and so her reaction was realistic. So she gets him back by one point at the end of the song. she steps on his foot with the heel to get him back, and his reaction in it is actually is a real reaction.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did they shoot this like fairly sequentially then, or is it just that they shot those scenes in the right order, one before the other?
I think it was shot sequentially.
I mean, it is basically an adaptation of a play, isn't it? So it would make sense.
I will have a wee look see because I haven't looked at the trivia much because I knew quite a lot about this film.
Yeah,
anyway.
we've been too busy chatting shit, haven't we?
Yeah.
I love this as well. Like the fact that there's a big RKO.
Yeah.
You know, you feel like you could be watching King Kong, or I think The Thing from Another World is an RKO picture.
Ah, yes.
Like those old classic black and white movies.
Mhm.
There's already a ton of them. Like I can't be bothered to like grab my phone and call them up, but I've seen that logo appear on quite a few movies I really like. Which is The Thing from Another World. I don't really like it. I think it's fine. Like it's good, but King Kong I fucking adore.
King Kong is brilliant.
See, this is all part of the same song. That's the thing. It's little movements in the same song.
Yeah.
Which is why I refer to it as the showstopper, because everything stops for this song.
Well, apparently Steve Martin auditioned for the role of Brad. That would have been a different thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it still would have been good.
Yeah, which that would be very different.
I like, the little kick of the lever there and everything. It's just very interesting and unique, the whole movie.
Yeah.
I love that expression, erotic nightmares, as well. Like, it just really, oddly enough, sums up the whole movie, doesn't it?
It pretty much does, yeah. Erotic nightmares.
It's a nice kind of change of pace as well, doing this movie. You know, while there's not much going on except the song we can talk about, it's a nice change of pace doing this movie when we're mostly doing fairly serious films. You know, there are some comedies, and this isn't even the only musical, but you know, mostly we're doing stuff that's designed to be scary or disturbing and things, and go for something that's just very different.
Yes.
This whole thing, you know, the whole "Don't Dream It, Be It" segment is
just from looking through the trivia, so I can't seem to find this. It's like apparently that crystal dome was actually the same dome used in the Crystal Maze.
Really?
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yep. What were you going to say? Sorry.
I think there's just this "Don't Dream It, Be It." I think like every sort of like oddball teenager who didn't fit in who watched this movie took something from this scene.
Yeah.
From that philosophy, just of not being afraid, you know, to just be the person that you are.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good way.
I mean, whether that's what they're talking about or not is irrelevant. But I think a lot of like, I certainly took that from it when I was, you know, at that weird age.
Yeah, same here, to be honest. Because I think I first watched this movie when I was about 11 or 12.
Yeah, I was younger than that. You know, I really was too young when I saw this, but. You know, I saw it so many times. It's kind of It was one of those movies that was important to me.
Yeah.
A lot of films that I can kind of point to that were important. I really like this. The only time he like properly sings, because he does that little bit of singing at the beginning of the song about Eddie.
Yeah.
She just like pulls him under the water now as well. He just gets loads of water in his mouth. This does not look safe.
I know.
This is like a nightmare for me. All this like kicking in the water. I hate like. I've got like really shitty eyes. Like if I get the littlest bit of like water just splashed in my face, I can't open my eyes. I can't open them underwater or anything. So I get water splashed in my face. It just completely immobilizes me until I can get to like a towel.
Oh. Thanks for telling me in case we ever go swimming together.
I think that's one of the reasons I can't wear contact lenses.
Yeah, I can't even put in contact lenses. Yeah. Now, apparently Richard O'Brien borrowed the famous "Don't Dream It, Be It" from back of a magazine.
Doesn't surprise me. It sounds like the sort of thing it's in the back of a magazine.
Yeah.
Or, in Hot Topic.
Yeah. To be honest, if I did see a t-shirt that said that, I would probably buy it.
Yeah. That's good advice, isn't it? Well, don't let your dreams be dreams, as Shia LaBeouf says.
Just do it!
I don't want to take advice from Shia LaBeouf, man. The guy creeps me out.
Yeah. It was like the guy was in Even Stevens.
What? It's just fucking nonsense. I like that his pitchfork from the beginning is the laser gun as well.
Yeah. He looks really confused. I know she's got her Bride of Frankenstein hair there.
Yeah, it's just, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I think this sequence here, they managed to homage, so many different movies.
Yeah.
And sort of genre convention in general. You got Frankenstein and King Kong, yeah.
Yeah.
And any of those kind of sort of Beauty and the Beast kind of stories, they do that here. It's really nice.
It's sweet. I like this song, but it's not my favourite song of the movie.
Yeah. I think it's pleasant. I like it.
Yeah.
Certainly not my least favourite in the film, but again, it's not one of the best songs that the movie has to offer.
Yeah.
And to be one of the last songs in the film, it seems fairly weak.
Yeah, but anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
That's disgusting.
I'm sorry.
I did the episode of Bad Creepypasta I had to edit, because Toby just kept sniffing constantly. I'm like, mate, can you control that shit while we're recording? But that's Bad Creepypasta. That was like 10 minutes, we're doing a whole movie here.
Yeah. That's the first time I did it, though. I like how they're all in deck chairs.
Yeah. Just why not at this point? Like, if you're not on board for the weirdness by now, it's nearly the end of the movie.
Yeah. And I was just like, what the fuck, deck chairs? I'm going home.
Yeah, people start walking out of the movie theatre. You know what? No.
This film's too weird for me. I mean, I could handle, all that sex and debauchery and all that. And, weird aliens and shit. But deck chairs, fuck that.
This is one of those films I think a lot of people love that is quite unifying, isn't it? Because, my friends who are sort of who are sort of depraved perverts love the film. But my friends who aren't love it as well. And some of my friends who are, I don't want to say it's going to sound like I hang around with bigots, but you know what I mean? Like the kind of people who generally would be repulsed by this kind of thing. People like Duncan, basically, like this movie, really, really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those movies that shouldn't have such a mass appeal, and yet it does. It's so niche, because it's a movie that's, fondly parodying B-movies, which in and of itself is a niche, and adding this kind of hypersexual, kind of fetishized kind of angle to it.
Yeah.
It should be so super niche and yet it's one of the most beloved, musicals
of all time.
Yeah, certainly beloved film musicals of all time.
Yeah, like it doesn't discriminate. That's basically it doesn't discriminate at all. I mean, it's a film for everybody to enjoy.
Yeah. I think as well, like, the film really has no agenda.
No.
You kind of make your own mind up about sort of what it all means.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, isn't it? It's a fun movie. It's sort of a bit of nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, you can't not have fun watching this movie, unless you're good, unless you're the fun police.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm in quite a lot of physical pain because I'm not well, and I'm still having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the same here. Which reminds me, it's like you need to get the vapor rub out again.
Yeah.
Apparently the budget for the costumes in this movie was $1,600, which was a lot of money for costumes back then.
Especially for a film that in and of itself only had like just over $1 million budget.
Yeah. And they used one of David Bowie's stylists.
Doesn't surprise me one bit. It's oddly effective though, isn't it, this scene? Like, it's tense at first, and then it's silly as it is, it's actually tense and quite tragic.
Yeah.
Because even though they do it in the style of, a B movie, like the whole movie's been done, because like we talked about earlier, it's not making fun of B movies, but sort of being very sort of kind in its kind of pastiche.
Yeah.
It's sincere, isn't it? It's earnest.
Very.
This the way the laser's kind of bouncing off him, and this sort of cheesy effect. It's very Flash Gordon, isn't it?
Yeah, I love Flash Gordon.
Where were we saw that Flash Gordon box set of all the old serials? Was it in CEX?
Maybe. Or was it?
Sometimes I wish I had like shit tons of money to buy stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Having shit tons of money would be amazing, wouldn't it?
I guess it would. I probably still wouldn't spend loads of money on my own movies that I make, though. They'd probably still keep making them for like £500.
I'll just be like, okay, what can we do on the least, as on a quite a micro budget type thing?
Yeah, I just don't believe in wasting money, on
things you don't need.
Yeah. I mean, I still would buy DVD, like I say, buy crazy amounts of DVDs and Blu-rays, but if I was able to make more movies than I do, I still wouldn't spend a shit ton of money on them. I'd only spend money on getting them finished. So it'd be things like right now, getting Darkland wrapped up has been a real pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It'd be okay, I've got the money, so I'll just spend what I need to spend to get it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm I wouldn't be oh yeah, let's I wouldn't even spend £1 million, to be honest.
I don't think I could spend £1 million.
On a movie, because I'd still cast my friends and pay them peanuts, and and use really really cheap special effects and stuff, because that's what I like. I like movies like this and the kind of movies it's rooted in.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I'm going to spend my life making.
Yeah, and that's your style.
Yeah, I guess that's why it's kind of cool having a YouTube audience for it, because I don't have to worry about getting them sold to distributors and shit.
Yeah.
The world is definitely... People complain about what a shit world we live in today, but I think for filmmakers it's changed for the better. It's certainly a lot easier for us now.
Well, I'm really looking forward to starting college next year, so I can get back into what I'm doing, what I need to go, what I need to do with my life.
Fucking costumes. Look at his hair.
Yeah. I mean, that's supposed to be a lot of hairspray or gel holding that up. Like a planet is called transsexual.
Yeah. In the galaxy of Transylvania.
Yes.
So dumb.
I know.
I feel I've got like no clothes on under those except underpants. Like, again, everything's just ever so slightly perverse in this movie.
Yeah.
And now, in a few moments, we'll get the song, which...
The US version
the
cut
US
out.
version cut out for some reason. Was it like an accident, or...?
I think it was about the runtime. It ran too long or something like that.
The film feels like it doesn't have a conclusion without it.
Yeah.
So here it is, yeah.
I think it's just a really sweet song.
Yeah, it's very short and, very pleasant.
Yeah.
And I think when the song concludes as well, and they're all sort of crawling across the floor and everything, I just really like it.
Yeah.
With the smoke and everything. It feels very theatrical again. Like less like a B movie now, more like a stage show, and that's nice. And there are a few other moments like that as well. Like that RKO thing from Anna and stuff. But
it's a shame that Susan Sarandon doesn't like talking about this film anymore, because she felt that because she didn't get paid the royalties for the movie, she doesn't want to talk about it.
it's weird because I mean, most of the time actors don't get paid royalties for movies; they get a fee.
Yeah.
I mean, there are times where actors get paid royalties if it's previously agreed upon, like Jack Nicholson in Batman. But yeah, isn't that kind of normally the case where you're just like?
I don't know.
I like the spinning here as well. When we go into the globe.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Like the sort of spherical thing, and then the camera starts spinning around.
Yeah.
It's a very, very nice, nice way to end the picture.
Yeah.
With the spinning globe. And fucking M. It's like.
I always found this to be a bit Jeff Wayne War of the Worlds ish.
I love that the book is called The Denton Affair, like the scrapbook.
Yeah.
I like the final line is lost in space and meaning, because the whole film's kind of lost in meaning, isn't it? It's a bit nonsensical.
Yeah.
And then of course you get the reprise. Now in a lot of stage versions the reprise is quite bouncy and lively because the cast come out and do it, but in the context of a film I think the sort of like soft lullaby sounding version is
it's effective.
yeah. So that was the Rocky Horror Picture Show, a personal favourite of mine,
And mine.
probably my top 20 movies of all time, if not top 10. Huge fan. Really enjoyed watching it yet again. My voice is finally cracking and going, which is great because we're just finished now.
Yep.
So I'm going to grab a cup of tea and run a bath. Gemma, your closing thoughts on the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
I guess one of my favourite movies. Absolutely love it. There's never a dull moment watching it. Just it brings back a lot of. It makes me feel. It brings back a lot of memories to when I was a teenager. Just really enjoying just seeing a film that I felt like I could identify with.
Oh, absolutely. It's a movie for freaks, and I think the reason it has such mainstream appeal is that most people at one time or other feel like freaks,
Yeah.
But it's not done in like a sappy kind of Tim Burton-y way. It's
Or an edgy,
it's kind
gothy
of
way.
earnest and fun and silly. And I love it. It's a masterpiece. So thanks, guys, for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for another horror film, another one that's slightly light-hearted like this one. So good night and stay spooky.
Bye.